Aya, another good day given upon us. I start with a question. As an artist in Kenya, or as an upcoming artist, but generally let's put it as an artist in Kenya, in an entertainment industry that has not yet grown to its full potential, do you need a manager? Now, before I get to answer that question, I want to look at it first by answering the following three questions. The first question is, what does a manager do? Second question is, how do you choose a manager? And third question is, what do you pay a manager, or how do you pay a manager? So I do believe with those three questions, we can be able to tackle this much more easily. And this is solemnly based from my observation and in regards to how it relates to our market right now, the Kenyan music industry right now. So starting off with the first question, what does a manager do? Now, I have brief answers for that question. It doesn't highlight broadly on the nitty-gritties of a manager, but it is just the simple basics that we can be able to discuss and understand about what a manager does. Now, basically, in a layman's language, a manager is more so your representative. This is a person that has your best interest at heart, has the best interest of your skill at heart. Now, their job is to represent you, to create a business face behind your talent. Now, for example, I need to find a studio to go and record my music at. A manager might come in, play that role of finding you the best studio that they feel is in line with your brand. Go in, record, do so and so. While in the studio, you've recorded your song. It is the manager's responsibility to do the follow-ups, that is any documentation that is necessary, either during the recording session or after. I'm talking of the presentation of split sheets and all this information. A manager can play that role for you. Now, your song is blowing out. You need to do shows. What is the role of the manager there? Is to help you manage your itinerary in terms of, we have this show here on this date. He is the middle person between the promoter of the show and you. He is the one to do all the negotiations on your behalf. So therefore, a manager has the mandate to conduct business on your behalf. Now, when it comes to signatures, your signature is needed in approval, in the final approval or closing of the deals. But for sure, the manager plays a huge role in ensuring that comes into fruition. That is a layman's language on how we can describe the work of a manager. There are so many details and intricacies that we can go into that a manager does on your behalf. But just as a beginning artist or somebody getting into the industry, these are some of the standard things that a role that the manager will play. Second question, how can I choose a manager? Now, there is no decisive answer for this in terms of this is the qualifications needed for a manager, and if they do not meet these qualifications, then they cannot be your manager. Not really. That is as per my opinion. But there are some few basic things that you can look at to help you determine somebody you feel can serve as your manager. Now, one of the things that is top of the chart, trust. It needs to be somebody that you can trust, because this person is going to do business on your behalf. Therefore, trust is extremely important, very important. The manager needs to trust you, and likewise, you need to trust the manager. So trust is very important when you're trying to find somebody that can become your manager. Next thing is, that person needs to have a strong belief in you. Strong belief in you. Very strong belief in you and your talent. Because a manager is going to try and sell your image out there. They can't do that if they do not believe in your talent itself. So it needs to be somebody that strongly believes in you, even much better. And I actually do believe managers, they need to believe in your talent even more than you believe in your talent yourself. That is the only way, because these people play a crucial role in your career. So they need to be people, it needs to be a person that believes in your talent even way more than you do believe in your talent yourself. This is a person that deals your talent with passion. That is something very important to consider. Now, another thing to consider also is a bit of information on how the music industry works. I'm talking of, they need to have an understanding on how contracts look like. They need to have an understanding on what is the position where the entertainment industry is at. They need to have an understanding of what music is sounding like in the industry at that moment, at that time. Those are just some of the few things that this person needs to understand. Why? Example, in terms of contracts. After you're in a studio session, probably let's say your friend of yours that is also an artist calls you for a collaboration. Now, after you've made your song or whatever, a manager will help in doing in basically getting the split sheets done, in terms of, we play this particular role in this song, therefore we can negotiate for this particular percentage of this song. That is a manager's role, to ensure that is followed up through. That is why they need some little knowledge on the music contracts and so on. For example, a record label approaches you. We want to sign you. These are the terms. You can bring in an entertainment lawyer in place to assist with the contract, but you also need to have somebody in line who also knows a few things. Not even knowing, but they know how to read and understand some few things there, and look at it and see, is it beneficial for you or not? Or how more can they negotiate? Can they make the negotiation terms much better than they are? That is a manager. So some of these things are very important to look at for anybody that you want to become your manager to know. Now, most of the times, people go for the professional managers, people who have been in industry for a long time. Other instances, people take their friends and mold them to become their managers. Both of them are correct. Advantage of going for an already industry-made manager is that they already have the connections. They know the radio guys, they know the TV guys, they've created relationship with other artists, so therefore they can help you get collaborations with other artists. They can get you proper studio time, which studio does the best work. But that is up to you. But the downside of getting the already established managers, it's either they would have either a particular cost up front, maybe the charges will be slightly higher, or the percentage that they are getting from you will be a bit higher than normal, which we'll discuss on the third part, which is dealing with the finances, how to pay your manager. Now, the other option is going with your homeboy or somebody that you know. The rule still applies. Follow those rules. Proper trust, somebody you trust, somebody who has a bit of knowledge about music. Don't just take your homeboy from nowhere, has no knowledge in music, putting them in a position. So now they're just, you've taken basically your fan to walk around with you with the claim of they're my manager. No. If they really want to be your manager, let them do the part. Can only do the part to be called the part. Let them take the time and study, understand about music contracts, understand about all these things, and let it be a person that you know can represent you well and be eloquent enough and speak on your behalf well to ensure they represent you in accordance to your image and stature. So those are just some of the few things that we can explain through on who can you choose to become a manager. Now, that part, how do you pay a manager? Now, this is the part where it creates a lot of division and brings a lot of problems. Now, most managers are paid by a particular percentage that is deducted from the income you get and regards as you as an artist. So any income that you as an artist generate, a manager gets a percentage from it. So a manager's cut is different from the label's cut. Whatever the cut, let's say for example you're getting a split of, let's say whatever, maybe your label is doing a 360 deal, maybe for the shows you're doing probably a 50-50, or they take 30 and you take 70 on the shows. Now the 70 that you get, that is where your manager gets a percentage from. Now this is different in terms of we have different contracts for managers. This is all from discussion and what works for both of you. There is instances where a manager will play a role in almost the entire aspect of your career. So they get a percentage from almost everything, also including royalties on the songs that they played a part in. That is in terms of the studio sessions, all of that. They'll get a cut from that. While in other instances, some will create a contract whereby sort of the manager will not be a part of the royalties, but any other thing they'll be a part of. So this is more based off discussions and an understanding between you and your so-to-be manager. So manager's cut is usually between 50% to a maximum of 30%. That is of your revenue. But this is not distinct because it also depends. How the bigger an artist is, the much lower management fee might take. Or you as a small artist looking for a manager that is well established in the market, they will take the premium end, which is around 30%. So there is different percentage cuts that you get, that managers get, but it usually plays in between 15% to 30%. So if you get an endorsement deal, however, they'll help you negotiate through that. They get a percentage from that. Now, do you need a manager or not? My answer is yes. In fact, as a new artist, the earlier you get yourself a manager, the better for your career. Because this is a person that is going to take your career seriously, and they're going to put as much effort on it than you would have put by your own self. They will wake you up in the morning for a studio session. They'll ensure you're not late for that label meeting. They'll ensure you're not late for that endorsement meeting. They'll ensure you're not late for that video shoot. So these are the people that are going to play a pivotal role in your career. The earlier you get that structure, the better for you in the industry. So in one of the videos, I had explained about calligraph being a very unique feature in terms of blowing up and going huge without a label is not easy. It's not the easiest of things. Now, for the few people that have been able to do it and go proper global in terms of music, and I mentioned calligraph as one of those, and also just being an extremely successful artist in Kenya in terms of financially, and doing it by himself, it's very important to applaud such. But one thing that you actually see for sure he did is he created a structure around himself way early in his career. He has a very competent manager, his boy. They have been together for a long time. And they have done all the deals correctly. He created a music label where everything went through. And that structure was specifically built to sustain one artist, Calligraph Jones. And that machine worked. The blue ink machine that was created specifically to support the Calligraph Jones brand, that machine worked. And that is something that I believe artists that are looking to start their careers getting into music in Kenya, that is a blueprint that you can just try and replicate. It is a working blueprint. Start off by creating a good system around yourself. I believe your career will be pushed higher. So that is just some of the few thoughts that I have in mind. We'll discuss more as we go on. Cheers.